Hey everyone, welcome to the check-in. I'm going to take you from our usual spot on the blue couch into community for a live conversation with Shanelle Matthews, the founder of Radical Communicators Network and the former communications director for the Movement for Black Lives. We're living in a time when stories about our communities are being warped and twisted by bad actors that spin false narratives, and that has an impact on real people's lives. From the creation of deeply harmful policies to the daily encounters that we have, it's important now more than ever that communities write their own narratives that are for us and by us, and take back the mic so that communities can see their stories in the larger story. Shanelle reminds us that power grows when we tell our stories our way. Taking place at Estelita's library in the Beacon Hill neighborhood of South Seattle, I hope you enjoy our conversation. At some of our institutions, it seems like we conflate strategic communications, narrative power, and narrative change. And on page 17, Shanelle offers at the bottom, she offers a definition of narrative power. But do you mind for folks just kind of talking about what you see as the difference between strategic communications, narrative change, and narrative power?
All right, so the simplest way to understand these three elements, narrative power, narrative change, and strategic communications. Narrative change happens when we build narrative power using tools like strategic communications, okay? Narrative power refers to the ability to tell stories within a society, including determining who tells them and also how those stories are interpreted. It's about the ability to shape worldviews, belief systems, and actions through storytelling. That's what narrative power. We are building power. We know we have power, we don't have power, right? So we talk about economic power, political power, social power. We need narrative power to do all of those types of power, right? So it's essential. Strategic communications is a strategy and a set of tactics that include goal setting, audience analysis, message development, and distribution channels, right? So that's your strategy, that's your plan. Narrative change happens when we tell enough new stories to delegitimize or replace old ones, right? Very hard to do. Said another way, narrative change is the goal, and we achieve our goal when we invest in strategic communications, a tool to build narrative power. What all three of these have in common is addressing a most pressing challenge that we are all facing. We are in an ideological contest for the future. To remain worthy competitors in this fight for the interest of future generations, we must do more than react to the moment. We must actively and radically shape the social norms and rules that govern our lives across all domains of power. So don't get bogged down by definitions. It's not a good use of our time. It's just important to remember that we need the infrastructure to build the power and make the change. And we can do that by investing in narrative.
Agreed. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Check-In. And if you want to dig in a little bit deeper, check out Liberation Stories, Building Narrative Power for 21st Century Social Movements. It's the first anthology of its kind. It was actually co-edited and co-written by over 50 RadComms members and Shanelle herself. And there's even a story about liberation that's placed right here in Washington. I highly recommend it. And don't forget, you can follow Inatai on all of our social media properties and sign up for our newsletter. We hope to see you soon, leaders.